This is our psychology in film project. For our film, we chose The Aviator, directed by Martin Scorsese. I'm Connor Sokit.
And I'm Molly Legband. And this is our project. Okay, so Howard Hughes is the main character. And so during the production of his first film, the character Howard Hughes becomes obsessed with creating the perfect film. He later redesigns an airplane to be the fastest yet and soon flies around the world in 4 days. At the height of his anxiety, Hughes becomes a recluse and refuses to leave a room within his own home, all the while living completely nude. So throughout his life, success and perfection are his standards, yet he never seems to feel that he has met them. So even when making his first film, he redid it so many times and redid the filming and waited a lot just because he wanted his film to be perfect. And even when it came out years later, he never felt that it was. So he had obsessive compulsive disorder, which is a form of anxiety. And he suffered from compulsions, obsessions, and a need for perfection in every part of his life. Anxiety is present in his everyday life, and you can see it through the way that he handles his situations. He hopes that his obsessions will relieve some of the anxiety that he's feeling about needing to be perfect and to meet his own standards. And his anxiety brings about an inability to concentrate in his everyday life through conversations and what he's doing. He always seems to be slightly absent-minded and not fully present where he is. And he oftentimes repeats phrases such as the way of the future. So one of the first ways that we see this is he just obsesses over the idea of perfection, which is seen clearly when he's directing his first film. So he takes years just to film this movie, waiting for clouds to be in the sky when he's filming planes flying. He redoes a lot of the camera angles. He had 28 cameras working on his first movie, which was just unreal, especially back then. And he eventually refilms the entire movie so that it can have sound. And even after he releases his movie in theaters, he recuts it again because he's not satisfied with it, even after putting $4 million into it and years of work.
On to our second symptom. Howard Hughes is also a compulsive cleaner and a clean freak, if you will, and he seeks cleanliness to soothe his anxiety. For example, during one of the dinner scenes, he had peas that were lined up in a grid, and one of his friends stole one of his peas, and after said friend stole that pea, Hughes wasn't able to eat the rest of his food for the entire meal and soon after had to leave because he felt uncomfortable. In a separate scene, he was also cleaning his hands so violently and almost viciously that they began to bleed, and in one of his own planes he was shown to have wrapped the steering wheel in cellophane to protect from germs, and finally he refuses to go to Houston in one scene for filming because he insists that it's riddled with germ and disease. For the missing symptom and treatment, one symptom that we found that was related to obsessive compulsive disorder was potential thoughts of suicide, and Hughes never displayed any thoughts of suicide or harming himself. And a potential treatment, this wasn't discussed in the film, but that we considered would be exposure and response or flooding, very similar to flooding. For example, moving his peas and seeing if he can still eat them, or washing his feet for a shorter amount of time or out of routine. Hughes also seems to interact completely normally when he's focused on one specific task, like directing or flying. And so, although his anxiety causes much inability in his day-to-day life, it was shown that he was able to focus better when he was actually doing something that he enjoyed, and this could help to prevent nervous breakdowns. This also forces him to confront his obsessive and compulsive behaviors face-to-face, and ethically this can seem extreme and potentially traumatic for the patients by asking them to go against their supposedly anxiety-relieving actions, so it is a tough form of treatment. Finally, in this film, we believe that it is an accurate portrayal of OCD, as it shows him compulsively act in an attempt to ease his anxiety. It was also known that DiCaprio spent some time with people that had OCD before filming, so we think that he was able to relay an accurate portrayal of OCD. The film also shows OCD in a more severe form to clearly reveal the disorder in action and the control it holds over Hughes' life. And seeing psychological disorders in film can show us a realistic expression of disorders that we may have never seen manifested before. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you very much.